Nice. So, hey everyone, it's been a while since we've been live. Um, I was recording a few videos instead, that's why. But I had some spare time today. It's a little bit of a long weekend, so why not knock out a couple hours on this short film that we're doing? It's that fight scene, Jon Snow and the Night King. I can show you guys some of the progress at the end. We're making good progress through this short. I think in total there's 55 shots. We're almost done 10. But yeah, today we're going to tackle kind of a hard shot today. I'll just do that. So if we look here, can you guys see? It's like one of the first big sword fighting moments between them. So there's a lot of poses, a lot of action going on here. So what I want to make sure we do today is at least get a few of these poses blocked in. And then I think the animation won't be as hard because it'll just be a couple in-betweens, pretty snappy timing. So here, we're really going to make sure we get these poses correct. And if you notice too, I don't have a sword yet. I'll add that after. And I don't have the Night King. We can also add him in after. We're just going to worry about Jon Snow today. All right, let me know if this lags, guys, or, you know, if you have any questions or whatever about, animation, anything while we're doing this, we can talk and animate at the same time. So I have my first pass here. I'm just going in now. I might even turn off this background because it's lagging a little bit. And there we go. It's a little bit better. I'm just going to do some drawovers now to kind of get this this first pose to where I want it. And I hope everyone's been doing good, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying your long weekend, or at least in Canada, it's a long weekend. Sorry, it's Canada Day. So we get a couple extra days off, which is kind of nice. I don't understand why it's being so laggy, though. What we can try and do, if your file's lagging, you can go remove unused files. Let's try that first. And then if that doesn't work, I'll plug it into a display so then we can kind of just focus on this character. Because that's one of the worst things when you're working with a rig. It's when it's lagging, it messes up everything. So first priority, let's get this scene working the way it should be. Anyone else in the comments, guys, working on any cool projects? I know there was a few people in our community who are working on some stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to hear those updates as well. Just give it a sec. It's probably going to take a long time. I feel there's a few pallets because these rigs, I made them myself and I wasn't really paying attention to the pallets as much as I should have. So I think there's a few things that are going to pop up that are going to make this look work slowly. But while we're waiting for that, guys, let me see if I could show you the progress we've made on some of these shots. So let me open this up again. Wait, I need to go back to homepage. It's over here. I have it in CapCut, I think. Because I don't know how long this is going to take. I probably should have done this before we logged on. But take a look. Oh, my whole computer is like shutting down. Here we go. So far, this is a temporary background as well. I still need to see what I want to do. So we have this scene. This is new. And we're just doing the opening shots right now. So we can drop in. Hang on a second. I think I have a few new renders that we can drop in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. We have 5, 6, and 8. Yeah, so let's drop these in. And I think too, what's cool is they'll automatically update. So we have 4. This is 5. My God, my stream is probably just going to cut out. This is still going. My goodness me. Right, so we got another like establishing shot. I want to kind of make this really build up the tension here. And then we cut back to this. 6. And this is kind of another action shot that we're working on. So let's play through. This is what we have so far. Runs. And that's about it. So I still got to do the scene we're doing it now comes right after this one. So it's here and then to the scene we're doing, and then it goes to here. So it's coming along. Still a lot of work to do, but oh, Emmanuel, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you. Long time no see. What software is that? This software, this editing software, it's called CapCut. I'll put it in the chat. So it's free, I'm pretty sure. I have it on my tablet. It's better I find on an iPad, but it also works on the desktop. So yeah, that's what I use it. And I don't think this is going to work, guys. So I'm going to close this down and try again. I don't know what's going on with my scenes, but I don't think it's going to. Oh. Never mind. It just worked. So no palettes need to be cleaned up. But what we're going to do is let's just display Jon Snow. There we go. Nice. How's the volume, guys? Can you guys hear me? And let's just start getting this. This is actually crazy why it's going so slow. I don't understand what's going on here. Like, this reminds me when I first was using Toon Boom, like so long ago. This is insane. Let's try this again. I'm trying to think, maybe because everything else is open. Let me close a bunch of windows. Let me close this. Oops. That's from my other job. This is insane, guys. All right, let's try this again. So what I'm focusing on now is pretty much just getting these details in place, making sure the curves are nice. Oh my God, this is insane. So for stuff like this, I kind of want the shoulders to be all in one line, right? That'll go right from here. This is pretty much like the third or fourth draw over I'm doing. That's why I'm using the line tool. And any other questions, guys, you have, let me know. We can answer them. I'm going to try and be doing these streams again. I know we were doing pretty good for a while. We got it every Friday. But, you know, it's the summer. I'm taking kind of a little bit of a break. But we'll get back into it. Right, that's good. I got to fix this area. Now's the time, like, for these poses, I can take my time because I haven't really put a deadline on this for myself. So I'm kind of making sure everything is perfect, right? Normally on a show, you don't have time to do this, but we have time to make our poses look pretty good. Let's start with the upper body. and then we can go to the bottom. Now, this shot is probably one of the biggest shots on this in this whole like short. There's a couple shots that I've marked that are going to be pretty tough to do. So we might have to break this into a couple sessions, which is fine. So I tried to balance it out when I was making this. Like some shots are pretty easy. I can just reuse them, right, to save some time. But other shots, I want to put a little more effort into them, you know? So it's still like interesting for people to watch. I tell you what, though, this lag is fucking killing me. And I don't know what's going on. Like this computer should easily be able to uh handle this. This is crazy. Like maybe I need to restart my computer, but then I don't want to restart the stream. Anyone watching, if you guys have struggled with like performance issues, what did you do? Did you have any solutions to that I could try? Like this is actually insane. The lag is like at least a couple seconds. Right? And I always say this too. I take so much time doing my blocking poses, but when it comes to animation, it makes it so much faster and easier, especially when you're using these complex cutout rigs in these complex poses. So don't jump right to animation. Take your time. Take your time with this stuff. At least that's what I try and do. That's what seems to have been working for me recently, you know? All right, so let's drop this right down. Let's keep this right in line. Right? It can be a little bit boring, this part, but it's also super, super important. We want our poses to look as good as they can. Let's move this down here. Because when you go and like tween all this stuff, if everything's not in the right place, it makes more headaches. It creates more headaches than it's worth. Let's bring this here. But yeah, also just some updates on the channel too. Lots of new videos coming out, guys. I'm also trying to do some, it's like called like back to basics kind of series where we go back to like more simple topics and kind of discuss them more in detail. So there's a few videos like that coming out. Also more as I learn to do that more advanced rigging stuff, more of those videos will pop up. A lot of copying and pasting functions and stuff like that. So I'm just learning basically is what's going on. And then I'm going to share what I know. For now, that's looking pretty good. Relax Jones music channel. How are you? Nice to see you. Hi. More videos, please. Yes, of course. I'm always trying. Do you have any specific topics that you want me to cover? Relax Jones music channel. Because a lot of the videos I have too before, the quality isn't the best. So I'm also going through my old videos and trying to like repost them, remake a few of them. Yeah, for this, we're definitely not going to do any other characters. It'll probably just crash this whole scene. I don't understand what's going on. This is insane, guys. Like, look at this lag. Toon Boom Harmony, yes. Nice. How's it going so far? And what topics in Toon Boom? Anything specific that you're having trouble with? I love the last video with the eye. Yes. That was a fun one to make. And it's fun to work with those eyes. If anyone's seen, I think her name is Sarah Zader. I think she's Brazilian, but she also has a great eye tutorial that I also wanted to try and make because we were trying to do it that way before. But she has also another great way to rig an eye, but it's in Portuguese, so it's a little bit hard to understand if you don't speak the language. Okay, so I think for now this is good, guys. This is for our first pose. This is what I had before, right? And I kind of just adjusted it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to keyframe this with F6, keyframe that. Actually, get rid of this one with F7. And now I got to make the next pose. So if we activate, maybe it's the color card that's making this go so long. This is crazy. Like, look at this lag. What is going on here? This pose here, we can jump right to it. And see how I went in and I keyframed before I started actually adjusting? That just makes sure all my volumes are going to be consistent, even though there's so much movement in this shot. The eye. OJ Anime says, I'm still having trouble with the profile mouth rig. Oh, interesting. What exactly are you having problems with? I think the more on the timeline. Yes. Oh, perfect. I'm actually working on a video too that focuses on the timeline. So nice. And if you notice too, guys, here, look, I've posed everything, not really using the deformers, right? I just kind of get it into place. And now I can go in with these drawovers and match this pose a little bit better, right? So maybe I can make it, push it a little bit more. Hopefully we can get a couple poses in today. I don't want to stream for too long, and it looks like just the performance issues, I won't even be able to stream for that long. Right, let's get this down. So my first drawover, right, I like to not really use the line tool. I'm kind of just doing like a gesture drawing, which is kind of complicated now just because it takes like 2 seconds for the thing to appear, but whatever. We'll do our best here. So I got this in. I want to get this. See this negative space? I'm really focusing on that too. I want that there. I want that there. These drawovers can be rough. They don't have to be perfect. I'm just focusing now on like the motion and the movement. I want it to feel fluid, so my rig will feel fluid. So it won't feel stiff, Oh my God, this is infuriating. Holy shit. Maybe we'll need another foot drawing there. See how much I'm drawing before it's even appearing? This is insane. Timeline management. Okay. Yeah, that's a huge thing. managing the timeline and the node view, that was like a big like light bulb moment for me. Realizing what was on the timeline is the same as the node view. Holy fuck, guys, this is crazy. Okay, I'll try and match this as best I can. It might be hard the way we rig this. I might get a lot of breaking here, right? So we may have to just tweak this a little bit. It also helps too that I built this rig, right? So I'm pretty comfortable, you know, going in, changing some things that aren't working. All right, I just have to go back to the video. Yeah, it's a little tricky. It's basically, you just have to make sure you have 2 different inside mouth colors, right? So one is the normal color. The other one is the profile mouth color, which is kind of green. So 2 different colors. And then you use color selectors and color overrides to select those colors at different times, basically. So it does get explained in the full rigging course. So go back and just watch it again a couple times slower. But that's all you're doing. You're just choosing when you have those colors show, when you have those colors cut, whatever you want, right? Holy crap, guys. Okay. Let's try and use this. So notice too, my pivot points are a little bit off. That's okay. It seems to be okay as long as I don't really move my pivot points permanently. So it should still tween properly or decent enough where I can get a good enough movement, you know? Oh my God, this is crazy. Oh, also, I don't know if anyone's near California, guys. I recently just bought my ticket to Lightbox Expo. So I think it's October 25th. So kind of a long time away. That's when it starts. I'm going to be in Pasadena for that. So if you guys are around that area, shoot me a message. Love to meet up or something. You know, it could be cool. I want to start doing more of these animation conferences, you know? They seem like a lot of fun. Oh my God, this is actually crazy. But see what I mean, guys? Like the equipment you have really affects your performance as well. If you're just struggling against your computer every time you're animating, your work is not going to be as good. So it's another thing to consider. If you're in the industry, consider investing in, quality equipment, especially if you're freelancing and working from home. I'm a big believer in like the equipment you use can really change how you animate. This is crazy. Now, I can't remember if I have a bottom foot or not. Let's see. Bottom shoe. Yeah, this is what I want. But it's also weird because when I tested this rig out before, it didn't seem like it was too heavy. So I don't know what happened or what I did. Maybe it's this. This main comp. What if I just set it to bitmap? Let's see. I wonder if that changes anything. No, it does not. In fact, I think it even made it worse. Oh, gotta plug this in or else the laptop's gonna die. That's it for the stream. Oh, okay. Nice. Also, too, guys, I don't know if anyone's been looking for some jobs. I've noticed recently quite a few studios are hiring. Now, starting in like midsummer, August. So keep an eye out on LinkedIn. Have your portfolios ready. I know I got to revamp mine a little bit. So just to keep an eye out, guys. Jobs are coming just around the corner. I know it's been a tough couple years, especially people like in the States and in Canada. But there could be a lot of opportunities down in the near future. See this? This needs to go in front. That's better. Right, and what I like to do too, I always like to keyframe one time in front just to save what I've done. And then it kind of frees me to be more, what is it? Like to take more chances in my poses because I already have the pose saved. And if I ruin something, I can just go back. Ron My says maybe the animatic. You think the animatic's slowing it down? You could be right, because I think. Oops. Let me just check something real quick. Yeah, I think you're right. Because it extends all the way down, right? Maybe. Well, let's just get rid of that. Okay, we're going to have to move this leg back. And even for this short, like since I started working on it, I've felt way looser when it comes to making these poses. The first couple scenes I did, I was super tight, you know. But I feel the animation will just get better as I go along. I'm trying not to change the animation style too much, but it might. I want to get this done within the next year. So we'll see what happens. It might be tough, especially when it comes to comping and stuff, because I've never actually really done that before. But it would be a nice opportunity to learn. So here we can kind of match this. So what's everyone else up to today? You guys are working, enjoying the weekend. Let's move this in front. This behind. Yeah, it's pretty nice here. So hopefully in a little while, I'm going to take my dog for a nice little walk. I was going to try and teach him how to swim, but maybe tomorrow. He's 4, but he's afraid of water. So we kind of want to train that out of him. I think it would be good for him to learn how to swim. Actually, this should not be in front. Should be behind. There we go. That looks better. And can you guys see everything that's going on? I think the stream that I have, it doesn't stream HD just yet. So I'm just trying to make this as big as I can. Right, so already, take a look at the legs. I'll zoom in so you guys can see just the tiny bit of progress, right? It makes a huge difference. Let's like move the head up a little bit. I'm gonna kind of see if I could grab his hair. Hang on a sec. I was on the fence about doing this before, but I kind of like to block in the hair movements in the key poses because I find it helps me track that overlapping action better. So I don't do it all the time, but sometimes I like to put the hair, like I'll pose the hair out, even though the action is kind of going to follow the body. I'll throw in a couple poses like that. Also, too, guys, I forgot as well. Sorry to any of the members. I'm still locked out of Discord. So I think the Discord, their helpline, they must be like real mad at me or something because I've been sending them so many messages and like it's actually crazy. So hopefully that gets sorted, but I'm really starting to lose faith in Discord. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't get back and access the members chat. So right now, oh, 1 second, guys. Okay. Oh, yeah. But yeah, basically what I was saying with Discord. I don't know what's going on with that, guys. But if you do join the membership program, you still get access to all the perks. Just do it through the YouTube membership page. Because that's the only thing I have access to. Also, coaching sessions one-on-one. We're going to start those again. I'm going to take July off, guys, just because, it's summer. But either in August or September, we're going to open those up again. So again, if you're a member, you get access to those coaching sessions, but there's not going to be any in August. But they'll start up again in August. Not going to be any in July. They'll start again in August, September. All right, back to this. Right, so now at this point, guys, I can't really see, right? I can't see what I'm doing through my draw over. So that tells me, okay, it's time to do another one. And now this time I can be a little more tight with my lines. So I like to use the line tool. Right, I'm drawing right through. Now we're trying to get some nice, just like appealing lines of action, curves. I'm thinking he probably needs to go have that overlap like this. Right, but I still want to connect it like that. I find it's always pretty appealing to draw a line right through the shoulders. It's always appealing to connect those two, like point to point. All right, let's see. This kind of needs to come up. Right, and this is just the beginning too. We still need to draw like a breakdown to connect these poses, but we can worry about that after. Let's get this guy up here. And I want this like that. The back, it's kind of a mess right now, but I think if we test this out, we'll see how it looks when it tweens. And I think that's just as important than getting the right pose, is figuring out if the pose will tween properly when it's animated. Because that's a huge thing as well. If you can't figure out how you get to that pose, then you're going to have some problems. And I find more when you're just starting out using the rigs, you need to spend more time planning that, just because you're not really used to how the rigs work and what will work. But as you get more comfortable with your animation with the rigs, it's kind of becomes intuitive, and like, okay, this is going to work a little bit better than that. I can get away with this pose, stuff like that. So here, this is auto patching, so we're going to have to move that. And we'll move this here. Nice. That's looking good. We technically don't need to adjust it too much. This. Right? Already, it's starting to look more like a character and less like a puppet. Like, that's pretty good. And if we test this out, guys, let's take a look. This is what I'm talking about. You do a tween and see how it's moving. It's pretty good. Like, it's pretty smooth. That would be a successful, like, yep, this is working. I'll keep going. Okay, so let's copy, save that pose. And let's get more the arms now. And remember, I'm not using the sword. I'll make a separate video on that, but I want to try out something new there. So I'll save that till later. So his arm's going to go up. We want to have that. This, and we probably need his hand like that. I think that's the pose we want. Look who it is. There's Alex. He's doing good, man. It's been a little busy with work and stuff, so he hasn't had a chance to play as much as he wants, right? But he's planning to get back into it. You've completely moved on from that stuff, though, eh? You're done with that. But you still are, pretty cool for sending us all those cards. So look, we'll move this up. What are you up to this weekend, Alex? Probably something crazy, I bet, eh? Yeah, sold my cards, gave him some to use. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. You had some good ones. But we never made it to gold ever. So I don't know what's going on with us. Okay. So in the arms, guys, look, my drawing is straight, but I still want to give it some, form, right? You still want to make it look like an actual arm. And this kind of stuff, it'll make people forget. They're like, is that a cutout puppet? Like, I can't tell. So it's thinking about that really can take your animation to the next level. Let's make this bigger. Let's move it in front. Okay, here we go. We don't have to worry about this hand too much because it's off camera. But I still want to get it right, because when it tweens back on camera, it'll be easier for me. Okay, that's one. Alex says, not crazy for him to loop as a race car motor. Damn. Around for the gates. Awesome. Wow, dude, that's packed. Not crazy, but still quite busy. How did he blow up his race car motor? That's such a cool thing to be involved in, like racing and stuff. It's pretty sick. So I'm just going to rough in this arm. Where are you again out? Like, what's the time difference? I can never remember. We'll keep him in a fist, I think. This is what we want. Fist. And we want to keep that nice curve. See this in the body? This curve? That's what I want. I want this. All right, let's get this arm in. Let's go here. We'll just move it back. Right, and see, like, shots like this, guys, you just get a rhythm after a while. For me, at least, it takes a little while to get going. But once you like warm up, you get a nice process going, you can knock these out pretty quick. The head was used to make a lot of power on the bottom. Damn. The head we use makes a lot of power, and the bottom ends aren't that great. That's crazy. So where are you going to get the parts from? Do you need like to get some spare parts, or do you just have them on hand to fix something like that? All right, let's see. What do you think, guys? Closed hand or open hand? Do I even have a closed hand? Oram, how are you? Nice to see you, man. How have you been? What have you been up to? I know it's been a long time since I've streamed. I'm trying to get back into it. It's not crazy. I blew up 2 this year. What? That's wild. So now here, guys, I don't really have a hand that I want. So what I'm going to try and do, like this hand looks good, right? But it's on the wrong side. So if I flip it, actually, it still doesn't look good. What about this? This hand looks okay, but I need to flip it. And if I flip it with my peg, right? So if I select my peg and flip it, when I go to do the in-betweens, it's going to flip, and I don't want that, right? So what you can do, I go on the drawing, I'll create a new drawing swap. I'll select, everything. And then I'll actually just flip the drawing instead. And that way, my hand will tween properly. I won't have to flip anything, but I still get the hand position that I want. What does Alex say? I grab blocks from the junkyard and I can bring them into the shop. Ah, okay. So you have like connections and stuff. You got your stuff. That's crazy, man. But good luck. It sounds like a lot of work. Arms is closed hand. I think you might be right. Sketch Package says, good evening. I have a question. What is good, Moho or Harmony? So I've been seeing a lot of things for Moho. I think Harmony's better just because I think you could do more. And it's more like production friendly. Plus more studios use it. But Moho, I think, is cheaper. I don't know. But if I were you, I would learn Harmony. Harmony seems to be the way to go. It seems to be what everyone's going to use, especially the new. They just came out with Harmony 24, and they're starting to integrate more like 3D effects and stuff. So it's going to be, that's pretty useful, especially, Blender's coming out too. So Harmony's going to mimic that. It's going to be a one-stop shop for everything. So I say stick with Harmony. What do you guys think, though? Anyone else here use Moho or Harmony? What are your thoughts? I'm saying, my friend, how are you? I'm doing good. Can't complain. Enjoying the summer. Yeah, things are good, guys. Things are good right now. Alex says, I know how to build everything myself. Most people come to me for stuff. Damn, how did you learn all that stuff, Alex? Did you go to school to be a mechanic or something? Or you just kind of, figured it out on your own? And yeah, I'll change this to a closed hand. I'll change it to a closed hand. This needs to go behind. And using this rig, there's a bunch of things I wish I would have changed. But I don't have time, so we'll just do it in the next one, guys. That's one thing I wanted to not do in this project. I don't want to get caught up in, it doesn't look so good anymore. Maybe I'll change it. No, I got to roll with the punches, keep going. I don't want to ever go back, or else I'll never finish this, So I haven't really set a deadline for myself, but I made sure that once something is, locked in, I can't change it. I can't change the character designs. I can't change re-rig the rigs, I mean, unless something is really broken, but so far, it's just little annoying things. Let's see. Okay, I think for now, yeah. Because your fist is like this. Let's just do it this way. New drawing, same thing. We'll just flip it for now. Okay, so I can't see. Right, so now we can see a whole bunch of things that we need to fix, right? It's definitely better. But, we still got to do another draw over. What does Omar say if you want to organize this? Basic, fun, and fast. Yeah. But harmony is the king. For working, is it necessary a certificate or only experience is enough? So for this question, I would say experience is enough, because if you know how to use the program, you can just show that in your demo reel. Excuse me. And, people will know. However, especially if you're like teaching yourself, you didn't come from a school, a certificate is a good way to kind of give you some validation when it comes to these employers. It proves right? So I have my associate certificate in Harmony. I'm working on getting the professional one, but I can at least say, like, hey, I know how to use the program. Here's my certificate, blah, blah, blah. So I would say yes, if you are like self-taught, you didn't come from school. Certificates are a great way to give yourself some, credibility. All right, let's see. Right, so now we can get these nice lines in. Let's focus a little bit on the bottom too. Yeah, that hand's bugging me. We're going to have to redo that hand. And I want this to be like this, if we can. The arm's looking a little strange, so I'm going to go straight. Let's go like this. And maybe make it a little smaller. Maybe foreshorten it a little bit more. Right, something like that. Might be a little bit better. Right, so these small details, guys, you may think like, oh, whatever. They're not a big deal. But they are, especially like even small points that don't disconnect. Those are super important when it comes to cutout animation. Right, it just makes the whole process run way smoother. And you will definitely benefit when you actually go to animate your stuff. Sketch Practice says, in one day, how many seconds of work do you do on average? So by day, let's see. Right now, on the show I'm working on, we need to do 800 minimum. Like that's usually what they give you. Like around 800 frames of finished animation in 2 weeks, basically. So I don't know what that is per day. We could probably do the math real quick, but that's the quota. So usually for me, it's 1 week, I block in 800 frames. And then the next week, I animate 800 frames of those same frames, That's kind of my schedule. Now, some productions will be less, some will be more, depending on like if this is a hard show, like is the animation style more detailed? Is it an easier style of animation, right? So it all depends on the show you're on. But usually I find from the shows that I've worked on, it's around 800 to 1,000 frames in 2 weeks. That's like what they say, right? And then it can vary. Anyone else have any similar experiences? Any different quotas? Because I know it can be different, right? All right, let's see. Yeah, these streams, I always forget how tough they are. I need my my brother here to read the comments back. It always helps when you have someone else reading them for you. Let's go like this. Any big UFC fans? There was a big fight yesterday. Crazy knockout in the main event. But I guess, no UFC fans here. Okay. I really want this to look right. And you can use reference as well. I'm not really using reference too much, but I used a lot of reference when I was creating the poses in the storyboard, right? So I would recommend using reference. If you don't know what a foreshortened arm looks like, it really makes a huge difference. So actually, for now, guys, I'm going to keep this hand open. I'll draw it later just to kind of get the perspective right because I don't like that other hand. Sorry, what I'm going to do as well, we'll go here. We'll just kind of delete some of these lines. Oops. Kind of make it look a little more natural. Okay. But yeah, the quotas can be a little stressful. But I found, too, ever since I started focusing more time on the posing, so it takes me around. It used to take me like a couple days to do my posing. I would get it done so quick, and then I would spend most of my time in the animation stage. Now, it takes me pretty much a week and sometimes a week and like a couple days to get all my posing done. So it's basically what I'm doing right now. And you might think like, oh, you're behind, right? But then when it comes to the animation part, everything's basically planned out and you can get better results much faster. Because like all the work is pretty much done. Let's go like this. Okay, it's looking better. Right? We're still maintaining those volumes. That's key. Let's see. Relax Jones Music Channel. I think for my first anime project, I'm thinking of an story consisting of characters, a stickman figure style. Yes. Yeah, honest to me, I love stickman animation. That was one of the first things that got me into actual animation was I saw, one of those stickman fight videos. And that's when I wanted to learn. But it's a great way to introduce yourself to animation because it's so simple. You can even create a stickman rig with deformers, right? To get used to working with kind of complex rigs. I think this is done, guys, this pose. I like that for now. Notice, too, I'm skipping this pose. I'm just getting the main keys for now. Okay, so up, right? That's looking pretty good. Let's delete that. I'll press delete, press F5. Everything's back. Are you adding tweens on your frames or is it only twos? So I'm going to add tweens first when I get into the animation part, and then I'll convert it to twos in the end. So in the end, it will be on twos or ones because it's fast action, but it will be individual frames. But I start with the tweens and then I kind of break it down. Let's see. So Relax Jones Music Channel. What is your animation project going to be about? Do you have any other ideas other than the stick figures? We'll leave that. And here, boom. This is like the next pose. I know even in I kind of blurred this out, which probably wasn't the best idea, but okay. Let's draw that in now. So I really want to, he's pushing this shoulder forward, right? This is a nice shape there. And then I want to, his arm is pretty back. It's like this, right? We have a nice, this is the shape here between the sword and the leg, right? That's the belt. He's kind of leaning over his belt. We'll keep that there. And I'm really trying to focus on these volumes. Just because like it makes when you tween things, it kind of works, but then you need to go in and kind of adjust parts of the body to make it look better. You can't just rely on the tweens in Toon Boom because it's not going to look great, right? Especially when you have these complex movements, a lot of pieces are going to be out of place, and we're going to need to go in and basically fix the tweens. But you got to do it by hand, you know? You can let the computer take over to a certain point, but you need to go in there and kind of finesse things a little bit. And then when you put it on twos at the end, it just makes it look better. It hides a bunch of imperfections, and it gives it more of like a hand-drawn look, which seems to be a good look that people are going for. Let's see. So that's that. Right. This is really forward. And his head is like, we're going to drop the head. See, I wish I would have connected the chin shadow to the head. That's kind of a mistake. What time is it? It's 2:30 already. Okay, this needs to go in front. But also it's like he can't turn his head like that, so we need to adjust. Fuck, I gotta feed my dog too. There we go. And that kind of follows the form a little bit better. I'll move this. Right, so see, it does take long. Like, we've been doing this an hour, and I've only done like 1.5 poses, right? But that's also because these poses are quite complex, you know? So simpler poses, we could have stuff done faster, but what we have in this shot, it's pretty tough to get it to look right. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of stuff we have to keep in mind, you know? So it's not so bad. Okay. Let's bring the whole arm down more so we can see that body. And I think what we can do, see how the head moves? I think we can keep the head in this original pose. I like that. I think that looks fine. I'm thinking of short, funny sketches of a fun Grim Reaper. Trace the funny events that happen between each person he kills. Nice. That actually sounds pretty good. You're gonna have voice acting or just all purely, you know, like action-based comedy. Let's go like this. This is gonna be up. Could probably move the knee up a little bit. I still want to plant the feet, even though he's not in, like these are outside of the shot, but I still need to make sure that everything is working properly, or else it's just not going to look right. And like you can cheat some stuff, but you want it to be pretty correct. That's why. Let's keep him balanced. I want this foot to be like over his head. That's probably important. If I move this. And move this back. This is going to be majorly foreshortened. So we'll just set that up. And now let's go and do another draw over with our new pose. Okay, F6. So we're going to need something like this, like this way and this way. Right? Kind of like a nice S curve. That's what I want. Right? And think about this shot too. Like it's pretty long and there's two characters. So even after this guy's done, I have to go back in and basically do the same thing for the other character. So a shot like this, if you got one of these like on a show, it would be pretty complex. And I feel it would be one of those shots where they adjust your quota so you don't have to do as much, but the shot is complicated enough where it's going to take you that same amount of time, you know? And either way, in a show, this would be one of those shots you really want to get right. There's a couple shots where it's like you can get away with some bad animation. Like if you watch that show Invincible, there's so many scenes in that show where the animation is just like it's just terrible, you know? When they're flying, you know, it just doesn't look very good, but that's just because they don't have time for that. They don't have time to make every shot perfect. So they take shortcuts where they can. And then on those really cool fight scenes, the animation looks a lot better, right? Right. It could be too. Some of the animators are better. They have their more experienced animators on those good shots, which probably is the case. But they also probably spend a little more time on those shots as well. My voice is not bad. I will try. If I don't like it, you voice it out. Oh, God. No way. My voice is probably super, super annoying. I don't know how you guys put up with me talking. But I don't think anyone likes the sound of their own voice, really. I don't think that's a thing. Right? So, look at that. Pretty good, I'd say. The body's looking pretty good. What time is it? It's like an hour and 11. Yeah, so I think we're still gonna be doing the streams, guys, on Friday nights. Those seem to be the best times, like pretty late on Fridays. But we'll definitely start it back up in like September. You know, sometimes in the summer you go out. You know, it's not always as consistent. But you know, you got to have a little bit of balance. You can't always be working. Peter says, so if you're working on a show, would you do these types of scenes first, or would you try to speed run the simple shot and spend the rest of the time on this shot? That is a great question. And I know so many people have different answers. It's really what works for them. What I like to do, and I find this has been, you know, pretty good for me keeping on schedule. I'll start these hard shots. And I'll just keep chipping away at them. So maybe today I'll do this hard shot. I'll do a couple poses, and then I'll move on to an easier scene. Do a few easier scenes, come back to this hard shot, do a few more poses. So jumping around scenes like that's what works for me. But I do like to start these hard ones earlier, so I have more time to get them done. Because the worst thing you could do is leave this till the end, and then suddenly something doesn't work out, or it's really hard. It's harder than you even expected. And now your deadline's tomorrow. You can't ask anyone for help because there's no time. Right? So definitely start the harder ones first. But if you're getting stuck, jump to another scene. That's what I would do. Kind of like resets your brain. You take a little break from the scene, you know? Let's go like this. Right? Because a lot of the times, too, they say if you can't get your shots done, you know, message your supervisor. They can try and, you know, ask someone else for help. But a lot of the times, other people are busy as well. So it's hard to find someone to help you out. So if you can plan out your quota, that's also a huge part of animating at a studio. Some people like to break it down like per day, which is probably a good idea. Like I need to animate this amount of frames today. But I usually just do it per week. Right, let's get this in. Yeah, see, if I were to go back, I'd definitely redo the arms in this rig. They're so confusing. And I feel I just made them more complicated than they needed to be. I think. Okay, let's foreshorten this arm. So we're going to move this back. Notice, though, I'm going to keep... actually, let's just do it like that. We'll move it back. We'll grab these points. We'll move them down. Get this nice foreshortened arm. It's going to be key in this pose, I think. So here, another hand, new drawing, grab these, flip them. For now, that's okay. We'll just leave that hand there. I feel this arm could still be lower. His shoulder, we got to change that. It's sticking out too much. So let's go here. Let's move this back. Right, and a lot of it too now, it's like you try something. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, make a note of that, you know? So don't be afraid to try new things when it comes to animating. Let's move that down. Let's have this be more like that. Right, so my original idea for this short was I was going to do it all hand-drawn. But then I thought that would just take me way too long, especially when it comes to like coloring and cleaning up the lines, you know? So I opted to spend a little bit of extra time creating these rigs. And now suddenly, I think it saves time now when you're animating. Even though it's still quite a, you know, I'm adjusting individual pieces, blah, blah, blah. But once it's done, it's done. I don't got to color it. I don't got to clean it up. So I like that. Let's make the neck like this. I think there should be another. No, I guess not. Okay, well, whatever. And maybe we can take this. And kind of, you know, make room for the arm, you know? It's following that arm curve. That might help sell. There we go. I think that looks better. We'll go like this. We'll show the back side as well. Whoops. There we go. That's looking better. See that? That looks more natural. I like that. Like his shoulder was popping out. Okay. I mean, the arm angle doesn't look that bad here. And then we'll move this in front. Oops. Keep this straight. We'll do a nice straight and curve thing happening. Okay. Right? And we don't have to worry about the feet because they're not showing. What do you guys think so far? Let me know any suggestions, guys. We can add them in, even if I add them in after. I'm open to all suggestions. Like, we're going to change those hands still. See that? I'm following that curve of the shoulder just to keep everything in line. Even though you can't see it, I still like to keep it in line. I think I'm using these arms wrong, but whatever. I can't remember how I was supposed to use them. Let's move that there. Okay. I'm just going to move this up. I still want this to be like rounded. And then we got to use these things to kind of really sell that perspective, you know? There we go. That's a bad hand. I don't like it. Ah, this might be a good hand, though. We'll flip it. Big. Yeah, there we go. I like that. And what we can do here, let's kind of make this hand a little bit bigger. It's coming towards the camera, maybe. I'm trying to play around more with perspective as well. Having, instead of things being so flat, you know, maybe scale something up, scale it down. See how that looks. Right? And speaking of which, why don't we scale this arm back? We can really make it look small. And also, see, weird thing too, it doesn't seem like it's lagging as much. Right? We'll try and like shrink this down as well. So it looks like it's coming farther back. It's all an illusion. Nice. Now let's go in and just fix these legs real quick. It should be pretty easy. We'll go in with these, just the lines. Just get some definition in the legs, you know? Some here. Right, I really want to get this nice shape. It's nice negative space in there. So let's move this guy here. Just a tiny bit of just curving it a little bit. It really adds a lot. Right, that's looking good. And of course, I can probably come in even after and clean this up when we're not on camera. Oh. One sec, guys. I got to take this call. Hello? Okay. I'll get ready, yeah. Okay, bye. Let's see, my phone. I got to get going, guys. So this will probably be the last post today, but we made some good progress, guys. It may not look like we did a lot because we were only 3 poses in, but those were some hard poses to get. And let's take a look, right? Look, come on. That looks horrible. And then we go here. It just looks like a decent character. So let's take this down. And notice too, guys, watch. When I tween this, so let's test it. He doesn't move. That's because that motion, the up and down motion, is on the master shadow. So if I tween there, now he goes down. So I like to separate that. It gives me more control, especially when you're animating. You can adjust things way easier. So plan stuff like that in your rigs as well. Or sorry, in your animation. It really, really makes a difference. But so far, guys, let's take this out as well. Like, this is the foundation of a pretty decent action scene. Of course, we got to add a couple breakdowns in the middle. Right? We got to add his landing pose. We got to add this pose before he comes up. But it didn't really take us that long, you know? So let's see. Here. Again, we'll come right to here. Keyframe. What time is it? I think we can just do this little. And so the beauty about this is I could take his upper body. Copy it. That's closer to this pose. And I don't have to do all that work again, you know? So stuff like that is a big time saver. It's why I really love to use rigs. But yeah, we'll do the rest, guys, over the next little while. I'll try and do some of this off camera. And then maybe we can do the animation for this. Oh, before we go, any last questions? The Space Age Price says, can you do a video rigging simple shoulders? Lots of. Thank you, man. Love that you are watching it from so far away. Yes, so both of these things, guys, there's videos coming out on both of those. So keep an eye out either in the next few weeks. They're going to be uploaded. It's a quick, dynamic shoulder kind of tutorial. And the OGL controllers, they're super easy to use. And it's a really quick tutorial on that. So keep an eye out, guys. I think, let me just check. I think, yeah. So members already, you have access to these, the OGL controller one, but the shoulder one is coming out, I think, next week. So keep an eye out for that, guys. All right. I got to take off. I was planning to stream longer, but we'll do it another time, guys. Thank you for joining. This was actually quite a bit of people, which was nice to see everyone again after such a long time of not streaming. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.